So this is the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. I'm recording this video on the iPhone 14 Pro, and we'll be flying this guy just to get a test of how it is, how simple it is to get set up and start flying. And this is a micro drone. So the first thing you're supposed to do if you have a drone before you start turning everything on and then start flying is to actually make sure that you're allowed to fly. Now right now I'm at the open field, and it's very easy to assume that, hey, I'm at the field, I have a micro drone or small drone, so I'm allowed to fly. But that's not the case. The first thing that you're supposed to do if you have a drone is to actually make sure that it's allowed in your region or location where you are. So in Canada, we have to use this application called Nav Drone app. It's made by Navigation Canada, and once you download it, you can open it up right there. And I noticed on Android, for some reason, it just takes a bit longer to open up. But if you give it a moment, you can see here, if you have an account, you can log in. If you don't have an account, you can explore without an account. So for the purposes of this video, we just explore without an account, and then you see the terms and conditions. It's very important to go through this and then see some of the safety mentions of this. And then once you've read the majority or the most important part, click next right there, and then it just takes a moment to load here. And once it's basically done, it will ask for permission for your location. I granted the permission while using the application, and right now you can see our current location. Now it's interesting because you can see here it says that we are allowed with a small drone, and this one, the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone that we have, is actually not a small drone. This is smaller than a small drone. So you can see it's ultra light. It's 249 grams. So this Navigation Canada app says that if your drone is between 250 grams to 25 kgs, then flight in this location is allowed where I am currently. So if you zoom out, you can see some of the restricted bands and zones here. You can see here, this is probably an airport here, and then this is probably the Surrey Memorial Hospital. You're not allowed to fly over hospitals, so that is the reason why. And if your drone is between 250 grams to 25 kgs, then you need to register your drone and get a license. But with this application, you can choose the size of your drone. So you can see here, instead of choosing micro or small rather, we can choose micro, which is the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. So that is from 0 grams to 249 grams. The DJI Mini 3 Pro drone has a weight capacity of 249 grams. So now we can select our micro drone, and then you can see that we are allowed to fly. And then you can select like the radius of how far you'll be flying. For example, we say like 200 meters, and then click save. And then you can also choose your radius, so how far out or you want to be able to fly. But you can see in this case we can increase our radius or reduce our radius depending on what we want, and you'll be able to see basically whether the flight is allowed or not. So in this case, we are allowed to fly with the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. So it's very easy to set up this guy. This is the Smart RC controller, and it comes with 2 joysticks here that needs to be attached. So we remove both of them here, and then we just touch them or screw them here. It's pretty easy to set up. I might skip this part in the video, but if you want to see how it's done, I'm holding my iPhone 14 Pro. This is the iPhone 14 Pro that I'm just moving. And then the drone, just remove this hood cap right there, and then these bottom feet are supposed to go over like this. Oh man, this is hard with one hand. And then this one too goes over like that, and then this one you just have to pull them out and then push these ones out like this. And then basically we are ready to turn on the drone. And since our flight is allowed, to turn on this guy, you press once and then press again, and then it's turning on. And then to turn on the drone, you press once and then you press again until you hear the sound. And then the drone will turn on. So they do take a moment to sync or synchronize, and we use this Android as a platform. As you can see, the propellers are touching the grass here, and it's not good. So we'll put it on the phone here like this, and this way we have clearance from the ground. And you can see here our drone is just starting up. Our RC controller has started up right here, and yeah, we're good to go. So you can see we are recording at 4K 30 hertz per second, and if we click here, we can basically change from 4K 30 to 60 frames per second, depending on the frame rate that you want. You can basically just click here and then select whatever you want. You can also select photo mode or video mode, and you can change some other settings if you want to shoot in manual mode. So for the purposes of this video, we just leave it as is, and then you can see it updates the low point or the home point after like a few seconds of initializing. And then to take off, there's 3 ways that we can take off with the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. So the first one, you can basically hold this, and then if you press and hold until the circle completes and then you let go, the drone will take off. The second way is to push the propellers inwards like this, like that, and then it will ask you to, you know, check your propellers and make sure they are okay. Once the check is complete, then you can basically hold your propellers in like that, and you see it starts to take off. So the other second way is to actually push them far apart like this, and you can see it starts to take off, and it's ready to take off. And then to land, you just press and hold this, and you can see the drone stops. Now basically we are ready for takeoff. This controls, you can see we have some controls here. This tilts our camera. You can see as we change it here, you can see how our camera is moving up and down like this. And basically this is how we can tilt the camera. It's pretty good 4K quality with a small guy like this, the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. And now let's take off and fly, and then we'll see how we can do this. So with this automatic takeoff, it goes to an altitude of about 1.5 meters. So we'll press and hold, then let's give it a moment. Yep. So this is the guy, and you can see the video output that we are getting. Really good quality. It's a bit windy outside, but you can see how stable this guy is. Now this button or the joystick on this left hand side controls the rotation like this. So left and right rotates this drone on its axis like this. And then if you push it up, it controls the height. If you bring it down like this, just like that, you notice the drone starts to go lower and lower like this. And then if you want, you can switch over to this other joystick, and then you'll be able to control movement. So this left joystick controls the movement of the drone. You can see, for example, when I push back like this or push down, the drone goes backwards, and you can see it's going. It's going. Then if I want to move it left or right, I can do this. Or if I want to bring it forward, you can see here it comes, the drone. And this is movement that I'm using, you know, with this right hand joystick. You can see as I do this, it goes that way. If I do this, it goes that way. And if I push it down, he goes backwards. If I bring it forward like this, you can see the drone goes forward. Now we have some recording modes that we can use here. We have cinematic mode. That is a slow cinematic mode, and with this mode, all your safety features like obstacle avoidance and everything that's still on. And you have normal mode, which is the mode that basically comes when you get the drone. And then you have sport mode. Now this mode makes everything really fast, and it disables most of the safety features. So it's supposed to be used once you get the hang of the drone, but for now we'll just use it in normal mode, and then I'll show you what happens if we were to turn off the controller while the drone is in motion. So this is the drone that you see here, and we'll just turn it off turn off the controller like this. You can see the controller went off. It's not responding. The drone is just hanging there. You can see that. And yeah, give it a few seconds and you'll see what's going to happen with the drone. It's pretty windy outside here. You can see, you know, the branches or the leaves here. It's pretty windy, but you can see what the drone is doing. So you can see it's hovering. So if you lose signal or connection, depending on what you have set, you can see he continues to hover and won't go down, and that's something that's pretty cool. So I want to turn on the controller back and then re-establish connection with this drone. But yeah, it's pretty sturdy in a windy condition like this. You can see the trees in the background, the way they are like just, you know, shaking. So our controller, our device is just starting. And then you can see connection re-established, and you can see when we do this, the drone starts to move. You can see now connection has been re-established. I can bring him lower. And so basically this is the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. Quick setup and then quick check on how, you know, flight restrictions in the areas and if you are allowed to fly. And if you want this guy to return home or if you want to land him, you can just basically say land like this, and yeah, you'll see the drone will start to land just like that. Touchdown. So yeah, pretty setup, simple setup with the DJI Mini 3 Pro drone. It's a micro drone. You can use the Navigation Canada app to check if flight is allowed, and yeah, that's how, you know, I've been using this drone and checking whether I'm allowed to fly in most of the locations or areas that I go into. Let me know what you think about this video on this drone. Do you want to see more drone footage? That's about it for me. Leave your thoughts and comments in the section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.